What's going on, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, wherever you may be. I hope you're having a great day so far. If you're just waking up like I am, or if you're having lunch, or you're having dinner, or getting ready to go to bed, whatever it is, I hope that you are having a great day. This is the 10K to $2 million funding challenge live on YouTube every single day. It is Wednesday, September 20th, 7 a.m. New York time, and we're back at it. This stream is sponsored by our incredible, awesome, amazing partners, Bespoke Funding Program, one of the best in the business right now out there. And if you're looking to take advantage of purchasing a new challenge, I can't recommend another firm that is doing what they're doing and as good as they are doing it. So they've got an awesome promotion running right now. 22.5% off any challenge, 87.5% profit split, and a 140% refund. You can use the link in my YouTube bio page that's on my YouTube bio page to take advantage of that. Or you can support the stream by using the discount code Venator, and you get 15% off and an 85% profit split. So please take advantage of one of those. It does help support the stream here and keeps everything free for all of our incredible, amazing viewers that show up here every single day to continue to improve and become profitable traders, funded traders, getting payouts. So I'm glad you guys are here. Some news this morning already on pound that sent it kind of flying around. We've got FOMC interest rate today on the dollar that comes out at 2 p.m. New York time this afternoon. So I don't really anticipate, I don't know. I had taken trades before on FOMC day in the morning. Very rare. If you can find a setup in the morning, you can take it, but you need to be out of it obviously well before 2 p.m. And then you need to not be in the market at 2 p.m. at all. There's going to be the potential for a huge gap up or down, or even just massive whipsaw action within 10, 15 seconds is crazy high. And you just don't want to be a participant in the market with really any dollar pair for sure, but a lot of pairs could be affected by that. So we'll just watch and wait. We'll do some analysis. We'll see what's going on. We'll hang out in the chat. We'll talk. We'll see who's cracking on who today, and we'll go from there. But glad you guys are in. Today I'm going to be choosing someone in our Discord channel to win a $25,000 challenge from Bespoke Funding. I will be putting that in the Discord after the stream is over today. So I'm excited about that. I've already chosen who I'm going to be. I haven't notified them yet, but I will here shortly. And then we'll go on Friday. We'll be giving away a 10K account. And then next Tuesday, we're giving away a 100K account. I mean, Brad Handouts is the name of the game. Brad Do Nothing today is likely, and Brad Handouts is definitely something today. So, but I'm glad you're here. And yes, we will get into some analysis. So yesterday, we had a euro dollar setup. We were trying to get in on this breaker right here. It didn't come back up into that fair value gap. We got swerved. It would have been right at a 1 to 2. It would have been right at a 1 to 2. So I don't even know that it would have hit our full TP. I can't remember where we had our stop. If it was at the body or the wick. It might have. I don't know. But we didn't even get in. It didn't give us a chance to participate there. GU, we were anticipating a break of this breaker right here. It started to on this candle. Let me zoom in here a little bit for you so you can see. So we were anticipating this yesterday being a breaker. It actually did end up being a breaker, but it didn't happen during the stream, and it didn't happen the way I wanted to see it happen. It was well after, by the time it actually went down and formed the breaker, it was way past trading hours. So this is where, right as we were getting off the stream, this candle, if this blue candle right here had closed below, it would have given us a breaker on GU. It did not. Then at this point, it's 10:15. It did close down below, did leave a fair value gap right here, but now we're at 10:30. It's after the trading hours. It finally displaces around 11:15 New York time, and then comes back in and triggers that breaker in at the end of the afternoon trading session. Obviously, it ends up working out, but that breaker right there held all night, and then with the news, the inflation news, the CPI news for GBP came out and sent it down into profits. Didn't take it, but nice little breaker setup there. For the actual GBP, there is a little, I don't know that I want to take this, but in fact, it hasn't even been triggered yet, but on the hourly time frame right here, you have this breaker. Last down close candle initiates a run on liquidity, takes out buy side, and then we get the displacement through. This is a news event, but it's still displacement through, closes below. It comes back up into this hourly fair value gap. It's tapped into the breaker and it's fallen away. It hasn't gotten all the way back up to the 50%. It hasn't gotten up to the gap that was left from the news. This is why I'm not really super confident in this trade. You have FOMC this afternoon. Our drawn liquidity, our first drawn liquidity got hammered when that news came out. There is still a drawn liquidity further down right here. If this candle closes bearish today, I definitely think we're going to continue into this swing level here. But with FOMC, you never know what's going to happen. It's going to create, if it closes bearish, it's going to create a swing level. It's going to create an order block. And depending on how this daily candle closes today, we might be able to get a setup Thursday or Friday. If it comes back up into that order block right there, we could look for another sell opportunity. So I'm still bearish. I'm still bullish on the dollar until the dollar takes out these relative equal highs up here. I have remained bullish, very much so, on the dollar until this swing level gets taken. It's run up to it and it's paused. And now it's like, okay, what is the sell side liquidity that it wants to take before it jumps up into that? It could be today. Oh, I made coffee. I made coffee and I didn't put any water in the coffee pot. I got the filter out. I put the coffee into the filter. I put the filter into the coffee machine. I emptied, I had so we have one of the ones that you take the carafe, out and you fill it up how much coffee you want with water, pour it in the top. It gurgles down, whatever it's called. I don't know what you call it. I didn't put any water in. Turned it on. And, but right before the stream, went back up there to grab my typical cup of coffee, and there's no coffee. And I'm like, where's the coffee? Well, you got to put water in the coffee machine to make coffee. So I'm going to have to pause here in a minute and go get my coffee because, yeah, I've got to have that caffeine. Oh, gosh. What a morning. All right. So back to analysis. My brain is scattered all over the place right now. Sorry, guys. I'm expecting bullish price action. So that does not mean that we cannot get a pullback from our current level. This volume imbalance right here that we've had highlighted for weeks has been holding price down. We traded up through it. We've traded back through it. It's now holding price down. We're inside this daily fair value gap right there. And it's holding as well. This little fair value gap right there. That's what's holding price up currently. It's respecting that. It's respecting this order block. So it could come down, grab some liquidity here. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm bullish. I'm waiting to find opportunities to sell euro dollar and sell pound dollar, and potentially buy dollar yen. That's what I'm waiting for. GJ still super choppy and ugly. Nothing there on GJ that I have much interest in getting involved in. Man, I am yawning so much already this morning. That caffeine, I'm gonna have to go get my caffeine going here in just a minute. We'll finish the analysis and then I gotta go get coffee. UJ has taken out on the hourly time frame all of the buy side liquidity. Our higher time frame draw on liquidity right up here is where I still think we get to. Again, the Bank of Japan is going to intervene to strengthen their currency. We don't know when that's going to happen. I'm still anticipating that liquidity to get tapped into right there before, or then after that, who knows what happens. But I think we're going to go up there. We have put in a higher high, a higher low. We've tapped into this buy side liquidity, and we have failed to displace and close a full body candle close above these highs. We're currently trading above them right now. So you see these highs right here. We have wicked above, wicked above, wicked above. We have not had a body close above those highs. And until we do, this could just be a stop run. Again, this is one of those things where you've seen price run up to an area of liquidity, pause, come down, grab liquidity, and then potentially to bull run. But we haven't bull runned it yet, so it may want to come down even further, grab more liquidity on these lower time frames here. Have a lot of sell side liquidity under these lows. And it could be a seek and destroy profile where you take out buy side, you get the bulls into the market, the buyers rush into the market on this breakout, it comes back down, potentially to grab this sell side and stop out all the buyers, these breakout buyers here, grab this liquidity, get people short, then it runs up here. So it just is a seek and destroy profile. It's just grabbing liquidity here, getting buyers to participate in this breakout. They put their stops here and here. What do? They immediately reverse, come down, grab all these stops, get sellers into the market. Where do they have their stops? Up above here and up above here. And they just run all of that so they can run this. So We're going to wait and see. Technically, just be careful, cautious here on buying UJ right now. I'm not saying you can't. Just be careful. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes back down. You've got this retail trend line working right here on the 1 hour. Just be cautious. There's a lot of liquidity under here. And if I wanted to buy UJ, I'm not going to do it on this retest. I want to see some sell side liquidity get run first, then see displacement. So, this is what I would want to see get tapped into on UJ. Some of this sell side here, and then see displacement higher. Put up this gold trade yesterday after we got off the stream. Actually, we analyzed this on the stream live yesterday. Right here, we said if price displaces down through this level, here's your breaker that you want to see. And we said that somewhere around, I don't know, 8, 9, I don't know. We set it up here. Price is way back here. Let me just do this. I want to say price was back here when we analyzed this. What time is that? 8:45. Yeah, somewhere around here. This was on the stream yesterday. We said, there's your breaker. If price displaces through this candle, these candles, if it displaces through and leaves behind a fair value gap, that's a valid entry. And where's the... Oh, it's down here. Right there, we thought we might be getting it, 9:15. It didn't happen. We get off the stream. And right here, after we get off the stream, at 10 a.m. New York time, we get the displacement. The very next candle, dang it. The very next candle leaves behind your fair value gap. I screenshot that and put it in Discord. I did not take this trade. So at 10:15 is when I put that up on Discord. And then you get your entry on the very next candle. And then it just runs and gets pretty choppy. But it does get down. If you had taken that trade and you were holding it, it did get to 1.5 R. And you could have moved to break even somewhere around, I can't remember, right about here. There it is. This is an easy break even. As it breaks that low, you would be at break even right there. And then, of course, now it's chopping back up. So anyway, breaker moved, breaker setup held, and it was a nice little. It could have been a nice little catch for anybody. If you didn't have to put your stop up this high, it's gold. So on gold, I don't ever trust my stops on gold ever, not ever. Where you think your stop is safe on gold, it's never safe. So I had it at the swing. If you had followed the strategy that I give here, you only needed to put it above the candle that created the fair value gap, which is right here. And if you had taken that, you would have hit a 1 to 2.1 on that. But if you had just taken the stop as I posted in Discord, then the best you could have gotten is about a 1.5, 1.6. All right. Let me, euro dollar still hanging around inside our fair value gap right here. Is Tuesday the high of the week? Do we get a high of the week today on Wednesday? TBD. We won't really know for sure until the FOMC comes out. Yesterday's low, Monday's low, it has not been tested. There's no wick here on this Monday candle, and it's an opening week gap. It's opening week gap. It opened and it left no wick, zero wick. Literally, the opening price on Monday is the low of the week. It is very, very, very rare. that the low of the week is the opening price on Monday without putting any kind of wick further down. So I'm still very bearish, and I still think we're heading down, even with the news today. The news today could wick up and put in the high of the week, and then it drops Thursday and Friday, whatever. It could just drop and tank aggressively. It could do nothing until 2 o'clock, and then it just completely falls off a cliff. So the frustrating part is we know we're pretty confident in our analysis, and we feel like we know where the draw on liquidity is going to be. The frustrating part is finding a way to capitalize on that. It doesn't always go our way. You can't just sell and expect it to go down. That's not a trading strategy. That's not a trading system. That's not a trading plan. That is gambling. And so we wait for our setups to form. And for our setup to form, we're going to wait and look on the 15-minute time frame. We're going to wait for buy-side liquidity to get run and then displacement in our direction. That creates a fair value gap that we can target inside of a breaker. That's the strategy. So currently, what we see on Eurodollar is buy-side liquidity getting run here and here and here. We've tapped up back up into our breaker from yesterday right here. This would have triggered us into our trade from yesterday. We would be in it right now. But we're not taking that trade mostly because of price action. I want to see a new breaker form, which potentially we could get off of this candle right here. We've run buy-side liquidity. This last down close candle has run this old high into internal liquidity here. It does not have to take out yesterday's high. It has taken out all the buy-side liquidity that yesterday's session and overnight session has engineered. So if we get some displacement through this candle right here, and we get a fair value gap created inside of there, and we can get triggered in fairly early in the session, I would consider taking that short and targeting these lows down here, just like we did yesterday. My anticipation is this is going to be choppy pretty much all morning through the lunch hour, and then FOMC is just going to tank this thing, and we probably won't have any kind of setup. I don't trade in the afternoon anyway, so I don't really care what happens. I will be watching. Obviously, I'll be watching. I want to see what the interest rate is. I want to see if they're going to raise it, if they're going to hold it. So anyway, it's just it's a hard day to trade. Hard day to trade because you know the big news is coming, and oftentimes price just winds up and moves sideways and consolidates and gets really in a tight range until that news hits. On GU, GU's tough. Buy side liquidity. There is a breaker, an hourly breaker up here. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I would want to see price come up and dig up a little bit higher than displace, but it has taken out this buy side liquidity here. If we get displacement down through this candle, you could potentially look for a sell here, but you're going to need to see a strong candle. And then today's low would be your target, obviously, but your higher time frame draw liquidity down here. All right, that's the analysis. I'm going to go get some coffee, and then I'm going to come back. We're going to say good morning to the chat, jump in there, see what's going on. I've got to go get some caffeine, so give me like a minute or two, and then I'll be right back. Oh, coffee is so good. I don't even know what it is about it. It's probably even just more psychological than it is like the actual caffeine. Maybe it is the caffeine, but it's like even just the first sip. Even just the first sip. It's hot. It's just a good flavor. I mean, it's like instant wake up. Instant wake up. All right, let me jump back over to the chat here and say good morning. Good morning to the fam. Red Ezekiel, what's going on? John throwing in some foreign language, practicing his German. What's up, John? Abram Cisco. Cisco says, John, you in Germany. Shanghai, what's going on, Adrian? Good trading opportunities this morning in the London session sweep of the high and low of the Asian range. Yes, it was. It says, Brad, I hope you still took your time to wake up and get your coffee despite the desperate Discord fam not letting you be 2 minutes late. What was up with that? I was 2 minutes late to say I'm going live. And you were like, is he doing a live stream today? I did see that. And that was about the same time that I was not making coffee that I thought I was making coffee. So John is not Amish. Pretty much anything John types, you can be assured is probably a lie. What's up, LOL? Corey, good morning. H, what's going on? You can't trust anything John says. That's 100%. Pennsylvania Dutch. John does not live anywhere near Pennsylvania. John lives in the fat middle of the United States, right in Kansas City. John, do you have a tornado shelter on your home? You're right in the middle of Tornado Alley right there. I would assume you do, but I don't know. I know my brother lives up in Oklahoma, and they have one. So you probably do too. Shanghai, please do not encourage him. He's lying to you. Beeswax, what's up? Abram says, that's what I did today. I got lucky on that GU sell. Well, I hope you didn't trade with luck. I hope you traded your plan, but glad that you caught that sell. LOL, our yesterday's EU setup still looks valid, unlike FOMC is right ahead. Yeah, I just walked through that one. Brad, I saw the breaker on GU, but I didn't like it as it isn't on swing level. What do you think? I mean, the breaker on GU right now, the hourly one or the one that I just pointed out? I'm wondering which one you might be referring to. Brad, that's annoying for you. I once made a coffee but didn't boil the kettle first. Cold coffee. Hey, a lot of people like the cold brew, so it may not have been too bad. Good afternoon, Emmanuel Obata. Welcome in. I had a Keurig, and I would do the Keurig all the time. And my wife thinks she's a coffee snob. She's not. And she's not awake to defend herself, so I can say whatever the hell I want about it. I'm not a coffee snob. I don't care. I just want some coffee. I don't care if it's a pod. I don't care if the beans are roasted. I don't care when they were roasted. I don't care if it's instant coffee. I don't give a crap. But evidently she started caring. And honestly, I swear to God, I think the reason she got rid of the Keurig and went to the traditional percolating coffee thing maker is that she likes the sound of it. I think that's 100%. Now she will tell you that's not the reason. I 100% believe she went to the percolator coffee maker because of the sound it makes when it's making coffee. And happy wife, happy life. I don't really give a crap. it's and the funny thing is that she's not even awake to hear it now. I have to make the pot of coffee, and by the time she gets up, it's been sitting there. Now it's still hot. It keeps it warm. You know, it's a nice coffee machine. It keeps it hot. But so she gets to wake up to smelling coffee and nice pot already made for her. Thank you very much. But she doesn't even get to enjoy the main reason she got it is so she could listen to the coffee being made. Because she's a princess. And that's what I got her. So we got one, and it happens. We might hit 1.1 before Tuesday. Really, I haven't even checked. What's our sub level up? You can't even see it, can it? It just says 1K subscribers. Does it? Like now it just goes up by the hundreds. You don't know where you are anymore. Maybe I can tell on my YouTube studio page. I don't know. I'm not gonna go look. We hit 1,000 subs. I hit my goal for the year in 4 months. So very happy about that and grateful for you guys being a part of that with me. John says on the futures version, there wasn't a fair value gap, but it did hit the breaker, obviously. On the gold trade, yes. Yeah, I don't know what the futures contract looked like. I just used the 8-cap feed. So they could have been off a little bit. Victor Niamu says, pound Aussie thoughts. I will jump over and look at GA. Sure, we can do that. While we're still just getting through the chat stuff there. Pound Aussie looks like it's fallen off a cliff. Daily time frame. We have taken out buy side liquidity and we're starting to displace. We have had a change of structure on pound Aussie. We've been in a massive uptrend on pound Aussie, and now you're getting a change of structure. You're taking out old lows, displacing below them. You are disrespecting the bullish price action on the daily time frame. Let's see, weekly. Weekly hasn't quite shifted, but it has taken out all the buy side, and we're getting aggressive reaction after taking out this buy side liquidity here on the weekly time frame. Ran it, and we're displacing through. Nice thing is you don't have to worry. It looks like if it closes down below these candles, it's going to create a weekly bearish breaker. It's going to leave behind a nice little weekly fair value gap that any retrace back up into that should keep moving price lower. On the daily, it's definitely has changed structure. You're going to be looking at these lows down in here, obviously, are your next draw on liquidity. If it displaces through this candle here today, it's going to leave behind a nice little daily breaker to use. It's already displaced through these, so these daily breakers have not been retested. So you could get a pullback. This would be inside that weekly fair value gap, I think, that we just looked at. On the 4 hour, yeah, obvious just displacement here. It's taking out this entire trend line. Right here, it's just demolishing it. Just falling. It's just in a free fall. You don't want to chase price at this point. Price is just running away from you, and that's fine. It's grabbed buy side liquidity here. Was this overnight? Yeah, so this was overnight. It grabbed buy side liquidity, displaced through on the news. It hasn't come back up into any of these breakers, and I don't know that it will. Technically, it's grabbed more buy side liquidity here and displaced through. So currently, if I was going to be trying to sell pound Aussie, I would want to see it come back up into this area here to sell it. But I don't know that it's going to do that. It's in free fall mode right now, and it may just keep tanking with a low resistance liquidity runs. That's an ICT concept that he coined. Well, I don't know that he coined it. He would probably say he did. Someone else may have used it before him. I don't know. But it's just a low resistance liquidity run. It has completely rebalanced this buy side imbalance here. So we're inside of this buy side imbalance here. You have obvious swing level it's tapped into right here, another one here, here, and here. So, I mean, the liquidity levels are obvious and where it wants to run to. How far it wants to drop and run today, who knows? But that's probably what I would be looking for, is a pullback. Now that it's already tapped into all that liquidity, I don't know that I would trust a pullback that deep, potentially. Let's see, we've got this. I mean, it's in an OTE. It's deep in the OTE. Yeah, I mean, I would probably look for a sell right there. That's what I would look for. Pound Aussie in a free fall. All right. Trading Night says, hello, Team Texas. Welcome in, Trading Night. Good to have you back. Glad you're here, always. Mr. Partha G says, hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Adrian says, did anyone see Donvo make $1 million live on YouTube? Did he hit it? Did he finally hit it? I did not watch it. I have watched his stream before in the past. I watched it some last year a little bit. Just interesting. He has a negative risk reward ratio, which means he is a scalper, a true scalper. He will often he's just trying to pick up 8 pips or 10 pips on gold, and he will use massive lot sizes. And so just a very interesting way to trade. Has a very high strike rate, which means a very high win rate, but just a weird strategy on how he trades gold with the levels that he uses and the wicks and all this stuff. I don't fully understand it. I watched it a little bit. It's not for me. I don't like it. I don't like the style that it is. I don't like that it's a negative risk reward ratio. It works for him, but if he hit $1 million, congratulations. He has done it live. He's one of the few traders that will trade it live as well. So props to him for doing it live on the stream. So way to go. If he hit it, good job. Shanghai says, for me, it's Monster Juice. It's garbage, but I'm addicted. I guess love the first and last sip. I hate Monster. Monster drinks, I don't know, man. They taste so fake. Like just the flavor, and I just feel like I'm truly just drinking a chemical concoction when I drink a Monster. John, who you calling fat? I didn't call anybody fat. I have a basement. Basements isn't a tornado, but that doesn't qualify as a tornado shelter though, right? Like, do basements qualify? I didn't think they did. I thought it was like a specific, like, safe room in the ground that's not attached necessarily to the home proper. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that qualifies. Maybe that's perfectly fine. Keurig makes Keurig makes great coffee. I love Keurigs. I like I said, I would have not ever switched from Keurig. You're not a trader if you can't make a decent cup of coffee. I did not make the one I have right now is very good, but I failed first thing this morning. John, you're spitting facts. John spitting facts. That is one of the more ironic statements that I've seen people attribute to John, that he's spitting facts. John Jones, what if I say I haven't seen coffee before? What? What if I... Is that true, Shadow? I know you're a good trader, so I guess I would say you're lying, but then there's an exception to every rule. ICT once said he invented the forward pass and climbed Mount Everest in his pajamas. ICT has made some pretty bold claims. And sometimes you wonder, like, what comes out of his mouth, is it true or not? Anything that's trading related seems to be true. Like, I've yet to see the guy make a trading claim of some sort that he hasn't been able to back up. But yeah, he's made some pretty outlandish life claims before outside of trading. Lot size is very small. He risks very little. On Donvo, no, he does not risk very little. That dude will lose tens of thousands of dollars at a time. Of course, he's trading a huge live account, but that's up to him. Sometimes I watch his live stream. He's extremely good in trading. Yeah, he has a great, like, he knows his trading strategy. He knows his plan. He knows how to do what he does. And that's all you have to do too. You don't need to be Donvo. You don't need to be Venator. You don't need to be ICT. You don't need to be whoever else it is. You don't need to be Patrick Wieland. You just need to be yourself, and you need to understand your system and then execute it at a high level. Just execute. Discipline, 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 discipline. That's what it is. It's just a choice to be disciplined in your trading plan. Not letting a losing streak, get you all whacked out emotionally and screw up your mindset and scare you into taking another trade that fits your profile. Not letting a winning streak get you so amped up that you think that every trade you take is going to be a winner. Not letting drawdown influence your next trading decision. Not letting all the profits you see on the screen influence you. It's just discipline. It's just simple execution over and over and over and over. Every single day, it's the same thing on repeat. And eventually it just becomes super boring because you know exactly what you want to see. You know when, you know what days based on red folder news that you probably will or won't trade. You know your stats, you know your probabilities, and you just become a disciplined systems manager. That's what profitable trading is all about. Choosing to be disciplined and managing your system, whether it's Donvo, ICT, Patrick Wieland, Venator, whoever it is that you're watching or looking to learn and be inspired by or grow from. These guys they're consistently successful and profitable because they follow their plan. They follow their plan with extreme discipline. And that's really the name of the game, man. That's the name of the game. Mango Loco is the one I drink. I've never heard of that one. But again, if it's an energy drink, I kind of stay away from them. I've tried a few. My sons like one, what's it called? Ghost, I think. Is it called Ghost? I don't know. They just taste literally like it was made in a science lab to me when I put it in my mouth. Like a fake, sweet, chemical something that I'm putting into my body. And I don't want to do that. John says, seriously, though, on his last Twitter space, he was touting a negative risk reward. So there's that. Was that ICT or was that Donvo? I don't know which one you're referring to. I never heard of Donvo, just watched a video and he didn't use stop loss. He doesn't use a stop loss at all. Well, that's not when I watched him, sometimes he will use a stop, sometimes he won't. Sometimes he knows where his stop is. He may not have it placed on the chart, but he just kind of knows where he wants to get out if he's wrong. But when he's wrong, he will often lose 2 or 3 times what he wins. So he has to bank on the fact that he's going to be extremely accurate on very small moves, like 70, 80% of the time. And he just tries to scalp, 5 pips, 8 pips. That's it. That's a win for him. And his stop might be 20 pips. So not entirely safe, and it's just not it's not a strategy that I would recommend to new traders who are trying to get in and figure it out. If I was Patrick, John says my wife would divorce me. Patrick is an interesting guy, man. Again, dude is a insane. He's kind of the perfect combo of a good trader and a entertaining personality marketer. Like, he knows how to market, he knows how to entertain, he knows what draws a crowd and keeps people watching. And it's his insane, off the wall, high energy, crazy personality. He's just it's to draw a crowd. This is probably one of the reasons why I'll never have a large crowd here, is that I'm not extreme. I'm kind of the opposite of extreme. I don't have a big, boisterous, loud personality. I'm not going to cuss people out. I'm not going to make fun of people on the stream, except for John. I'm not going to, just be this over the top, just exaggerated entertainer. That's not who I am. Who I am is what you see. What you see is what you get. I'm just a chill guy who is trying to help other people. And I am not here. Part of what I'm doing is not to entertain you. Like, I'm not here to try to be entertaining. So the stream it's not a fun stream, I would say. I would not say this is a fun stream. Not like if you watch Patrick, you're going to laugh because he's going to crack on people in his chat or make fun of people or he's going to, cuss and whatever, all the crazy stuff. But he's also a good trader. Like, he also can make a lot of money trading. So that's why it's highly entertaining and he makes money. And so that combo is he's definitely on that professional level of marketers, entertainers / trading. Trading is just the vehicle that he uses to entertain people. He's an entertainer. He's a personality, and he just has used trading as the vehicle through which he has built his audience to entertain people. So good for him. Good for him. Same for Raja Banks. We've talked about Raja before. Same for Raja. Extreme personality who has used trading as a vehicle to entertain people through what he does. Oh, ICT was touting a negative risk reward. So it's not, the negative risk reward is not, you can make a lot of money with a negative risk reward. You don't have to have a 1-to-1, a 1-to-2, a 1-to-3. You don't have to. You can, if you can just consistently scalp and be very accurate in your small moves, in and out, in and out, in and out. If you can consistently do that every single day, you can make a lot of money. There's just not very many people that can keep that high of a strike rate going. They just can't. They're just not that gifted in being in the flow with the market and having the discipline to execute. Your bias switching multiple times in a session, potentially even. It's just extremely difficult. It's very discretionary. It's very hard to have a very solidified, rule-based mechanical system and keep that kind of a win rate going at that level. But it can be done. It's obviously being done. There are people that do it. It's just very difficult, and it's not something that I think new traders or struggling traders should buy into right away. It's something that maybe down the road you could back test or live forward test with an extremely small percent risk, just to see how you do with it before you would put any kind of leverage behind it. Patrick Whelan is the Howard Stern. Yeah, he's kind of the Howard Stern of the trading community, YouTube trader for sure. Venator C NPR. Gah, NPR. I think I'm a little more entertaining than NPR. I think it's a little more entertaining than NPR. I don't know that I would call it maybe more PBS. PBS maybe, not NPR. Because PBS can be boring, but it's also it does have some entertaining shows on it occasionally. So I think it's not quite NPR. NPR is also very formal. I don't feel like I'm formal. I'm more casual, like PBS. Cisco, not here to entertain, only to watch candles. Yeah, that's what I do. I watch candles, and we try to find stuff to talk about and entertain each other while we watch candles print. Mr. Alpha says, hey, all, sorry I'm late. Are there any setups? No, not currently. We were kind of looking to see if we could get some displacement down on euro dollar through this candle, but we didn't get any kind of action there. So we're just still kind of waiting, really just anticipating a whole lot of nothing this morning, heading into FOMC, quite honestly. So it's going to just trickle around, I believe, not really give us any kind of displacement until the interest rate decision comes out. So there's no setups, Mr. Alfie. Sorry, I was just flipping through just to make sure we weren't missing anything. We aren't. We're not missing a thing. Mr. Alfie, no setup yet. We're waiting. Mr. Alfie, thanks. And good evening, Siam. Hey, for everyone that's in here that has won a 10K challenge, I think Cisco, Siam has. I'm not sure if there's anyone else in here that in the chat. There may be somebody watching that's not in the chat yet, but if you have won a 10K challenge, give us an update on how it's going, if it's still going. And just let us know where you all are at. So if you're watching and you just haven't jumped in the chat and you've won, let me know. Or if you're in the chat, I know Cisco and Siam both had the 10K challenges that they've won here. I'd be interested to know. We've had a few people pass phase 1, but we have yet to have anyone who has won a 10K challenge actually pass phase 2 and get funded. So just wondering where everybody's at. Muhammad is still at 4% drawdown. That's okay. You still have 6% to go. So you're not even halfway through your drawdown limit. That's fine. Mr. Alfie says, thanks, Brad. I have the EU setup highlighted already. Was looking at a sell on UJ, but realized I'm bullish on dollars, so I haven't set it yet. Yeah, exactly. Don't sell UJ just yet. You're going to need to see a higher time frame break of structure there. Well, I'm still bullish on the dollar, which means I am waiting for some of this sell side liquidity to get run. So either these swing levels here all the way down and then see displacement. I would definitely not try to be selling UJ just yet. You may that bias may change here in the near future, but I don't think we're there yet. John says, Mohammed, Saim, and Cisco, how's your challenge going? Yeah, let's go. No trades. Mohammed says, no trades for so many days. Cisco, phase 2 in 4% drawdown. Both of them in drawdown. I think, Saim, are you in phase 1 or phase 2? Brad, you should interview them on YouTube and hit them with a bunch of gotcha questions. Simon says, now I can understand how you feel sitting here every day after getting swerved for so many times. Yeah, it happens, man. You've had some great trade setups that you've posted in the Discord, and you just haven't got your entries. And it happens, man. So it's not a big deal. There's no rush. There's no time limit. You understand exactly what you're looking for, and your entries just haven't gotten triggered, and that's okay. It's part of it. This is part of the process of learning how to deal emotionally with that, and not getting so angry that you just go on tilt and you start breaking your rules and you start trying to convince yourself that you should just get in the trade. Don't worry about it. Your brain starts playing all kinds of games with you when you miss your entries, or you're in drawdown, or you're in a losing streak. All of those things start really screwing with your head. And that's when your choice to be disciplined is the most paramount decision you will make, is in those times. It's easy to be disciplined when things are going fairly well, or that there's not turbulence in your trading world through drawdown or losing streaks or whatever. It's harder to be disciplined when you just, I've been at 4% drawdown. Like, we're at 4% drawdown right now for, God, how long have we been at 4% drawdown? We've gotten up to break even. We've been at 2% drawdown. We've just hovered between 4% and break even now for 2.5 months. And how many trades have I gotten swerved on? It just happens. It's not a big deal. It sucks. It's not fun to experience that. But it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the way I trade. It doesn't change the way I approach the markets every single day. It doesn't change the way that I'm going to sit here and wait for my setup to form. It's just part of the business. I have a feeling things are going to turn around here as we head into the end of September and we get into October. I have a feeling things are going to turn around. It's just statistically and probabilities. That's where my focus is always on, and we are statistically due to end the slump and get back on track. So I think it's coming. Cisco phase 2 means you get paid. What's your max drawdown on phase 2? It's still 10%. Phase 2 is always 10% max drawdown. Phase 1's 10%. Phase 2's 10%. You don't get paid in phase 2. Phase 2 is the second step of the evaluation. So you have to make 5% profit in phase 2. And then you reach funded status and you can start receiving payouts. Muhammad's still in phase 1. I don't mind the drawdown. I was 4% drawdown, 8 in phase 1, but made the target, so just sticking to my plan. Yeah, he's right, John. Phase 2 is not getting paid yet. Phase 2 has the same drawdown limits. The profit target is smaller, not the drawdown limit. Red Ezekiel, are you planning to integrate other strat as well, or stick with the breaker only? Right now, I'm just going to stick with the breaker only on the stream. I think if we can get this 100K account funded, then I might introduce or bring in another strategy. Because honestly, 4 to 5 months of the same strategy, showing you the discipline that it takes to execute the same strategy day in and day out, I think that's a pretty good amount of time for a demonstration to show you how it works and the patience it takes and the discipline it takes. We might be able to introduce another setup. I think it's just it has the potential to really confuse people. And anytime you introduce a second strategy that you're trading, especially one that's a little bit more discretionary, for me, it's more discretionary. That's one of the reasons I've also not brought it in, is that it's not as mechanical as the breaker is. So that's one reason I've also kind of held off on it, is I just don't think a lot of new traders or struggling traders are ready and disciplined enough to bring in, they need to eliminate discretion in a lot of ways. And so if I bring in a strategy that is probably half rule-based and half discretion, maybe even more discretion than that, then it could really screw people up. It's very frustrating. I think that's one reason why strugglers trade so much is they're trying to use they're leaning on their discretion to determine the technical analysis side of it. And I don't think most are ready for that. October is my most profitable month as per my back testing. I don't know if October is my most profitable, but typically the fall, the October, November, December, I do pretty well. So I do feel very confident heading into the rest of the last quarter of the year. I feel very, very confident. And I think we still have the potential to max out Bespoke by the end of the year. And that's my goal. Andy C. Yes, Andy. Also with, he's at break even on his challenge. Waiting for good setups. That's all you got to do. Keep waiting. Shadow trades. 5% is very cool. Mini has more. 5% is the phase 2 profit target. The phase 1 profit target is 8%. And the phase 2 profit target is 5%. All with the same drawdown limits. Some of the futures only have one phase. It's just hit your profit target and you're funded. That is correct on some of the futures challenges. But also on a lot of the futures challenges, your profit target is twice your drawdown limit. So you have to make 8%, but your drawdown limit, the max drawdown limit is 4%. That's one reason I don't like the futures challenges, is that you have to make twice as much as you're allowed to lose. They have extremely just not, in my mind, trader friendly rules and stricter guidelines you have to follow. So not super attractive when there's Forex prop firms that give you smaller profit targets and twice the drawdown limits. Ashok says, good morning. Where are you dropping the 1 to 3 mechanical strategy you developing testing? A win. I don't know. And it's not finished. It's not finished yet, and I don't know when I'm going to drop it. Listen. You can't just come up with and develop a strategy and in 2 months' time take it into the live market. This is not like you are building out you're trying, when you're developing a new strategy, you are building out a product, a device, a vehicle by which you are entrusting at some level your financial future to this system. So it's not something that you want to rush, and it's not something that you want to, if you do one back testing session that you just throw on the paper and you go through maybe 8 months of data and you put it to the test and you come up with a nice 1 to 3 risk reward ratio and a 65% win rate and a 30 or 40% return over 8 months, whatever it is. That's not a good enough, that's not enough evidence for you to go, oh my God, I just discovered a new strategy and I'm going to take this in the market. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. It should take you months to develop a new trading plan and a new system. It should take you months before you ever take it into a live market. You need to refine your rules. You need to refine your entry. You need to try all the different parameters that you could consider to eliminate losses, increase win rate. What's the best risk reward ratio? Is it 1 to 2, 1 to 2.25, 1 to 2.5, 1 to 2.75, 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 1, 1 to 5, 1 to 1.5? Like, you need to go back and you need to test all of those, get all the data that you can. You need to test time frames. Like, what time frame are you monitoring? And then what time frame is your entry? And then what does your entry need to look like? Look, there is just a lot. It is not just throw on FX replay, throw on a Fibonacci, and think every time at this day on this hour, I'm going to use a Fibonacci, I'm going to take a trade, and every day it's going to happen. Now, that is a plan. It's not a good plan. So I don't know when the strategy is going to be ready. The best I've had so far is the one that I've showed you, that I showed you a screenshot of. That's the best return that I have been able to produce with the strategy so far. And every other tweak I've made has only decreased the win rate. So I just keep going back to that one and then tweaking, going back to that one, tweaking, going back to that one, tweaking, and seeing what I can eliminate or increase or make more efficient or just refine. So I don't know. It could be the end of the year. It could be into early next year. Not entirely certain yet, but yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of where it is with the strategy. It is mechanical. I'm trying to make it and keep it as mechanical as possible. That's what I was trying to do. So we'll see. Into the 8 o'clock hour, and guess what? Nothing's happening, y'all. Nothing. Nothing is happening. Nowhere. Anywhere. Everyone is out of the market right now and drinking coffee or sitting at a bar, depending on where you are at in the world, having a beer, doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And here we are, all 35 of us, or 38 of us, or 33 of us, I don't know, depending on which number I'm looking at. We're just all sitting here watching the charts do nothing. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Blitzdina, hello. Welcome in. What about Aussie dollar? I haven't looked at Aussie dollar, but we can go jump over there. It's probably doing nothing as well. Been climbing. Let's see. Could be the high of the week. We're grabbing buy-side liquidity here. I would be anticipating sells on Aussie dollar. You do have some relative equal highs up here. Could be a draw on liquidity. I don't know. Maybe it taps in on FOMC and then reverses. I'm bullish dollar, which means I would be looking for sell opportunities on Aussie dollar. So it's tapping into buy-side liquidity right now. Quick run and quick stab through. I would just wait for displacement lower and then find a breaker in here to try to target a sell. That's what I would be looking for. Relative equal lows down here. That'd be my first draw on liquidity. But then you have all of this sell side liquidity down here as well. Relative equal lows under here. I think To me, Aussie dollar, this looks like a stop hunt to me. Right before the news hits, and I think it comes down. I could be wrong. Very often am. Well, not very often. I'm not very often wrong on my higher time frame draw on liquidity. You can go back and watch every stream, and the accuracy that I have on the higher time frame analysis and where the draws on liquidity are, I'm not 100%, but I am pretty dang close. I have a very high hit rate on where my weekly draw on liquidity is, where my targets are, where I'm expecting price to go into and out of. Now, what we're still waiting for is the breaker setup to allow us to participate in that move. So the other strategies I have, I've been able to, I'd be just fine. I've done pretty well with, but this specific live stream strategy that we're using here, not so much in the last 2 months. So, but that's going to change. It all evens out over the course of 100 trades, over the course of a year. It all evens out. There's going to be times when it hits just nonstop, like we did when we started this stream. When we started this stream and we were we were passing phase 1, phase 2, getting funded, getting a payout, passing phase 1 of the next challenge, getting another payout. We were hitting all the time. And then we hit a streak where it's just either getting swerved or break evens or just a string of 2 or 3 losses in a row. So it's going to swing back in the other direction. You just have to wait it out. Cisco says, I think John is the only person here that doesn't know prop rules like the back of his hand. As long as John has been here, and as much as I've talked about the drawdown limits, the profit targets, and the funding, you would think he would know by now how prop firms work. But no, he does not. Cisco, because he does futures, not saying he's dumb or something. No one is calling John dumb. No one in here would ever do that. Shanghai, well, I'm doing the dishes at the same time. Work smarter, not harder. At least you're getting something done, man. You're at least being productive. I'm not even being productive while we're sitting here doing nothing, staring at charts, doing nothing. At least you're being productive. Markets are over 50 pips sideways range is what we'll get forever. It'll break out of there. Saim says, my draw on liquidity on the higher time frame is really good. I mean, really, really good. I was correct for almost 3 weeks, but still couldn't make a positive return on investment. That happens. You can be extremely accurate on your draw on liquidity and still not make money. You got to wait for your entry. And that means sometimes price is going to move to where you're anticipating it to move. It's just not going to give you your setup to participate in that move. And that's fine. It's totally fine. Get okay with that. Cisco, you're correct. I trade futures out of my personal account. I'm considering doing a prop firm for the first time. I didn't take that. You thought I was dumb. Put a dunce hat on me and sit me in the corner. I don't think anyone here thinks John is dumb. Maybe a little bit of a liar and an instigator. But not dumb at all. In fact, John's one of the few traders in here that I think is trading his own personal account. Which, huge props to John for that. Like, most people in here are not trading their own personal funds. So that's huge. Like that's real live trading right there. That's huge respect for that. Oh. If the dollar can displace above that high, you potentially could start seeing some move up. Euro dollar, again, if we can displace big candle displacement through that low, then I would look for these lows here. GJ, there's nothing. UJ, again, I want to see some sell side liquidity get tapped into before we start running higher. And indices, I'm not going to worry about until the 9:30 open. Mr. Alvey says, I don't have any personal funds. Doing nothing is a skill too. It is a very difficult skill for a lot of people to master. They want to push buttons every day. They want to push a button. They think every fair value gap should be traded. They think every order block should be traded. They think every double top should be traded. Every trend line should be traded. Every touch of VWAP should be traded. Every OTE should be traded. They have a million different ways that they think they can get into a trade. And it's mostly just because they want to trade. They just want to be in the market. They want to see their profit and loss go up and down. That's what they want to watch. They're addicted to watching those little numbers move and go from blue to red to blue. And they're completely addicted. They're not serious, legitimate traders who are actively being patient and exercising massive self-discipline while they are trading. John says, thank you, but maybe trading my own account actually makes me dumb. Using other people's money is always a smart play. It is definitely it's something you should definitely consider, John. And with trade copying nowadays, you could probably still trade your live account while you're also working on a prop firm. You could do both at the same time. But ultimately, you have the ability to produce the most financial gain out of anyone here by trading your live funds. You also have the largest risk since you're trading your own funds. We are risking the challenge fee. You're risking potentially your entire account at some point. The question becomes today, how long are we staying on this stream? Because that's the question for me, is how long are we staying on the stream? What are we waiting for? What else do we need to talk about? We know that the interest rate decision is coming out at 2 o'clock today. And so what else is there to do? Really not much. Really not much. And unless the chat comes through with some questions or something else, I don't know what else to do here. Can I make a robot where I can feed my rules and it will do the job? A robot might be the best option. It just depends. I think that's the correct answer. It depends, because you're relying on the coding skills for you to accurately determine exactly how your brain works in determining whether your trade setup is hit. There's still some discretion, even with this is the most mechanical strategy I have, and there is still some discretion. Mostly being, has there been a run on liquidity in the opposite direction of your bias? Well, number one, what's your bias? How do you code bias? Is it an EMA? Is it just a kill zone? Like, a lot of what I do is determined on the bias. So how do you code bias? Number one, accurately and consistently. And on what time frame do you do that? And then how do you tell, how do you code and tell this robot, don't take a counter trend, only trade in direction of the higher time frame bias? So you have to code that accurately. Then you have to code, okay, what is a proper amount of a liquidity grab in the opposite direction of your bias? What's a proper amount? Is it just a wick? Like is it just get above that high? It doesn't have to close above that high. It just needs to wick above that high. Is that enough of a liquidity grab, or is it no? It needs to be a solid run of liquidity, a full body closed candle above the buy side liquidity. And then what does displacement look like? Does it have to displace within a certain time frame or a certain amount of candles? What if it comes down to it and stops and then displaces and then it leaves the fair value gap? Where does the fair value gap have to be? It's very simple to say, yes, you should code a bot to execute this system for you. But when you get down to the details, how do you actually do that? And do you trust a programmer enough to put in those details into a piece of code to tell this bot how to trade your money? I just find it very difficult. I find it very hard to believe that could successfully be done and carry out the same accuracy with which, and avoid mistakes that we would avoid here because of how the way our brains work, and we can process information that bots can't. So I don't know that I would trust a programmer enough to create a bot that trades the way I trade, I guess is the best way to say that. Judas swing can be programmable. There's no direction on that. It's possible. Yeah, if you have a system where there's no bias needed and you're just like, let's say it's based on the hourly time frame, and if the last hourly candle closed bullish, then you drop down to the 5-minute chart or the 2-minute chart or whatever, and you wait for on the next hourly candle, you wait for a move lower that then gets a break bullish, and you just trade a fair value gap or a break of structure or something. I mean, there are ways to do a mechanical strategy like that. I just think you're not going to have a super high win rate. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems too simple and too good to be true, and the numbers bear it out. Otherwise, everyone would be trading with bots and making, passing all their prop firms and not having to worry about it. Ashak says, I don't understand if people can make money by high frequency trading on prop firms, why they don't do that on their personal accounts. Because brokers won't allow it. There's a lot of brokers that won't allow the spread manipulation. Same reason prop firms won't allow it. Mohammed says, I have a little bit of coding background. I was in that field for 2 years, but I might need to learn another language for this one. Not now, but in the future, I might build one. It'd be a fun project. I think it would be a pretty cool, fun project to work on and see if you can code a bot that could, produce some kind of consistent positive return. I just haven't seen. I know that there are bots. People are selling bots online, trading bots that, they advertise these incredible returns, right? It's all on back-tested data. It's not in live forward market tested data. The ones that do show you forward market tested data, The drawdowns that those bots go through are pretty insane. 30, 25, 30%, some of them, a lot of them. So it's, I mean, can you, what, could you weather a 30% drawdown on your account? God, that would suck. What's up, David Dreams? Welcome in. What do you think about hedging? I think prop firms don't allow it. They will not. And you can't, there's a lot of prop firms that they, like, there are some traders that have tried and been banned for having multiple accounts with one prop firm, and they hedge the two accounts. So they'll buy on one account, sell on the other. Prop firm says, nah, you can't do that. There's also been traders that have gotten funded on multiple firms, and on one firm they'll buy euro dollar, and on the other firm they'll sell euro dollar. And what they don't realize is a lot of these firms are sharing data, because there are a lot of scammers out there. There are a lot of people that they talk to each other to try to help eliminate and find the people who are trying to scam and cheat the system. I feel a sneeze coming on. Excuse me, sorry. You can get banned for hedging multiple across firms even. So if you have let's say you have a 100K account with Bespoke and you have a 100K account with the funded trader, they will talk to each other, and they will, they'll figure it out. You might get away with it for a little bit, but eventually they will be like, you're basically trying to cheat the system, and you'll get banned for that too. So hedging is not a viable option. I don't think there's many people that understand how to use hedging properly and actually make money on it. Nick Sean is a trader on YouTube, and his whole entire strategy is hedging. And he has multiple videos out where he shows you how to, he tries to teach you how to hedge. And basically it's a support and resistance strategy. Let me see if I can just use Aussie dollar here as an example. So basically his whole strategy would be, you're going to buy at support and you're going to sell at resistance. So as, let's say, price breaks through this zone right here, he would just mark out this zone, and he'd be like, look, when price comes back down to this zone, we're just going to, so first of all, what he would have done is when price came up to that zone, he would sell. He would just enter a sell. As soon as price touches that area, he would enter a sell right there. And then what he does is, it's crazy. It's as soon, he doesn't have a stop loss. He doesn't trade with a stop loss. He doesn't put a stop loss in. But where his stop loss would be, he's going to enter a buy. Okay, so now right here where his stop loss would be, he would enter a buy. And he would target the next zone that he had drawn out. So it could be up here. Let's just say it's up here. That's his next zone. So he's going to target. So he's in a short right here, right? But now he is in a buy where his stop loss would be. So he's basically locked in this loss right here. As long as he doesn't close out this buy, this trade here is going into profit the same amount that this trade is going into drawdown. So technically, this area of stop loss is currently all that he has at risk. Okay. So what he does is he will say, I'm going to buy at my stop loss. I'm going to keep this short open. And then I'm going to wait for this buy to make profit up here at this zone. Up here. And so he'll wait. So it's in profit, right? It's in profit. So now his buy is coming back down to his stop loss area. So sometimes what he'll do is if he thinks this is broken through and now is going to go to this zone, let's say his bias is like, okay, well, it broke through this zone. So now as price comes back down to it, I still think it's going to go up. As his buy is coming back down to where his original entry is, he might cut that short at break even. So right about there, he would say, hey, I'm just going to cut this short that I was in. I'm going to cut it for a small loss. It wasn't quite a break even. I'm going to cut it for a small loss, and I have this buy open now. So he didn't, even though price went way up here because he was in this buy, it protected his overall loss from getting any deeper. And then once price retraces and comes back close to his entry or at his entry, he would close that short out and keep that buy open. And then eventually he'll just keep going up, and he'll just wait until it gets to the next level. And at that level right there, he would close out, and then he would immediately enter a short right there. At the touch of that level, he goes short. Again, he has no stop loss. He just trades support and resistance and hedges every trade. So he'd still be in this short, and he would wait for it to come back down to this level until it broke this level. He would just wait. So, right, it didn't come all the way down. I don't know that it ever will. Oh, there it is. So right there, he would have been like, okay, I won. So he took a small loss here. He took a 1 to 4 winner there. He entered here. He took a 1 to 3.75 winner there. And then he would have immediately enter a buy off of that level. And he would target this zone up here again. And he just holds his trades. These are 15-minute candles here. I think he trades on like the 1 hour time frame. He would still just be in this buy. And then right there, he would have, sold again at this level. I'm trying to get to a spot where it shows you're like, oh my God, this strategy is amazing. That dude just hit a 1 to 4.5, a 1 to 3.7, and a 1 to 6. At this level, he sells. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just as soon as it touches that level, he's selling. He's taking his profit, and he immediately reverses his position, and he sells. Right? So as soon as he's in a sell here, right there, he's wrong. And so he enters a buy as it gets above that level. So now he's still short and losing money, but now he's also in a buy, and every dollar it goes up is protecting that stop that he's in short. But here's where hedging is like, okay, he's got to figure out how to get out of that short eventually and cover that loss. So even if whenever he takes this profit, he's got to cover that short at some point, or that loss comes back to him. So it's still going up. You got to find another level. You got to find another level that you're aiming for here. So let's just say it's, let's see, where are we? Could be here. Could be somewhere in here. He would probably target something like right there, potentially. I don't know. I don't know how he marks out exactly where his support and resistance levels are. So he's short and he's very negative, but he's also long, and it's covering that negative position equally, right? So if he were to close both of these out at the same time, he's only net losing this amount. It will show as a big profit and a big loss, but overall, that's the calculated net loss right there. Okay. So what he'll oh, that's live market data right there. So I can't show you anymore. But basically what he would do is wherever his target is, let's say price came up to here eventually and doesn't come back down and let him get out of this position. He would, once he got out of this long and took this long profit, he would immediately sell. Let's say price got up here and he sold right here. He would be in two shorts. This one is going to be in a massive drawdown. This one would be at fresh. And so what he would do is he would target 50% of this area so that when price came back down 50%, it would be in profit and knock out 50% of this loss. And basically these two would basically create a break-even situation for him. If you do the math, it works. I've watched a couple of his videos trying to understand it. But basically, he doesn't need this original short to come all the way back down to his entry. He needs his new short to come back down to half of his original position. And the profits from this short would eliminate, plus the profits from his long would eliminate that loss at basically a break-even position. The problem is that when it just keeps going up and you just keep adding shorts and you get into this trend where price is moving against you and it never pulls back, and you eventually this pyramid collapses. These shorts basically wipe out your account. So even you get all of these big winners, and you can grow an account pretty quick when it's in a range like this and you're just bouncing between support and resistance. But if you get this run where it just trends and it never pulls you back, and you just keep adding shorts or longs depending on whatever it is that you're trading in, whatever your bias is, it eventually just builds up so much your account gets blown because you can't keep doing that. It's a very aggressive, risky way to trade, I guess. He has plenty of videos. You can go watch it and see how he does it. Nick Sean, I think is his name. Hey, babe. But that's basically how you would hedge, is that when you're hedging, you're anticipating that price is going to pull back, that when you're wrong, you go in the opposite direction. You try to profit in that wrong direction. And then when price does pull back, you can close out of your original hedged position. So it's very difficult for people to make profits hedging at a retail level. There are large institutions that have obviously made hedge funds that obviously can make a lot of money doing it, but most people cannot. Getting some displacement here on euro dollar, but we would need another candle to close and leave behind a fair value gap there. So the dollar is not giving us a corresponding move above its breaker, so it feels a little sus to me. John says, I have a degree in math, but don't know much about coding. Do you really have a degree in math, John? Science says, if I can really build a profitable bot, I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to start a hedge fund. Cisco says, I do some bot coding. Wish I had more time to do it and run more tests. It sounds fun. It sounds like it would be a kind of a fun hobby to get into. I just don't think long term it would be difficult to find something that would... You could probably build a bot and sell it and make more money from selling your bot than the bot could from making you trading, because there's so many people that want a bot to do the work for them that if you were a good marketer and had a good PR and sales team, you could probably make more money selling your bot than you could trading it. Cool Gamer says, I recently tossed certain things out of my strategy. Now I'm looking for a medium-sized fair value gap after a run of liquidity and wait for 2 retests in the fair value gap with body close below the center before entering. That's a pretty good mechanical strategy. Cisco, I would never trust a programmer to not make mistakes in what I've asked them to code. ChatGPT could do it all for me. Pretty much. Brad, can you look at an EA and tell me what you think is the higher probability at EN? Oh, look at EN or EA and tell me what you think is the higher probability to sell. Sure. We can jump over there to those. Buzz, been there, done that. When you randomly place trades and win, but when you do your analysis, you lose. Correct. Ashok, Shawan FX style is Sean FX style is good to go if followed on personal accounts. Prop firm accounts may not end well with his method. Yeah, I don't think it would. Number one, I don't think they would let you hedge like that. Maybe they would. I don't know. I think there's some challenges where you can hedge and that's in their terms of service that allows you to hedge. And I think there's some challenges that do not allow hedging. You just have to be very careful reading through those rules to make sure you know that you're allowed to do that. It is mentally tiring trying to decide where to add to your, like when you're wrong, where to go on the opposite direction. And then when it starts to retrace, where you should close out your long and then wait for your retrace on your short. It can be mentally exhausting. It is basically a grid strategy, which props don't allow. Correct. Taught and coached high school. Math degree. God, why would someone get a degree in math? That sounds miserable. No offense intended, but that sounds absolutely miserable. Hey, buddy. Hi. Mr. Remy. We have somehow made it almost 2 hours on a stream where nothing has happened. So props to me. Oh, somebody wanted to look at EN and jeez. Let's see. So the question for me on EN is which breaker would I be most interested in taking? The 1 hour breaker looks the most appetizing. Obvious fair value gap in there. If you drop down to 30-minute, you could maybe bring that down to there. I would probably still keep my stop above the highest fair value gap, which is outside the breaker. So I'd probably still keep it there. If you drop down to 15, would you want to go that low? I don't know. With all these fair value gaps up in there, I think I would probably want to stay on the 1 hour time frame here and just use this as maybe a more potential, a longer hold type of a trade. And then EA probably looks very similar. I don't know. I think I kind of like EA better. I like the way that it ran this liquidity and displaced through. I like this 30-minute breaker right there. I like the fair value gap inside of here. It doesn't need as quite a deep a pullback as EA. I think I would probably prefer that. And I'd probably just target right. I'd want to see that fair value gap get filled. Probably put my stop above here. Where is the draw on liquidity? Yeah, you still have your lower time frame draw or higher time frame draw on liquidities levels here. So yeah, that's probably what I would look for. This 4-hour candle is about to close too. That's kind of nice. So hopefully on the next 4-hour candle, you get a push up, put a wick in, and then you run that down. I would probably be EA most interested in EA getting in here on a sell. If you could get a pullback up into that level. Swing high to swing low. That's into a premium right at an OTE level. There's multiple confluences there. I think I would like EA over EN, I think. I told you that looks sus. EU was trying to displace above that or below that, and dollar wasn't even close to trying to displace above that order block. So, yep. GU's pulling back into this 1-hour breaker right here and trying to get back and refill this big news rebalance here. I would not just sell this breaker. I mean, technically you can. I would not. I mean, we're already at 8, we're almost at the 9 o'clock hour, which is only an hour and a half away from the end of when I would be looking for an entry. And then you've got FOMC at 2. And since we're not already in a trade, I would just be sitting on the sidelines from here now until 2 o'clock, me personally. But we'll see how it reacts to that breaker. We'll just use it as a point of interest. 1-hour breaker candle right here, targeting about 50% of the entry. You do have this volume imbalance from the news release. I think that was at the news release. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. You have beautiful buy side liquidity up here. That's why another reason I would. It just looks so tempting for a price to want to come up and grab that buy side. So, but with the interest rate decision coming out this afternoon, there's really nothing to do right now. Adenergy says taking 2 or 1 trades per day won't it affect your edge profitability since all trades weren't taken? No, because my rules, I'm still following my rules, and my edge is based on the way that I follow my rules. And my rules say don't enter trades until after major economic impact news comes out. So my edge is based on the execution of my trading system. And part of my trading system says don't take trades on those days until that news event comes out. So my statistics are based on the way that I trade the plan. And that is part of my plan, is not taking trades when those news events are about to happen. So that is not affecting my edge. To this day, the breaker still confuses me slightly. Yeah, I don't know. It's easy for me to see and spot them right now. So the breaker is just the last up closed candle or down closed candle before there was a run of liquidity and then price displaced away. So you have a run of liquidity right here. You have all of this prices just consolidated. It's left behind liquidity here. When it runs it, you look back and you go, where was the last down closed candle before we ran that liquidity? It was right here. You highlight it. So this candle gets highlighted. As soon as this starts running liquidity, you can just highlight that candle and go, okay. Once we see price run liquidity and we're expecting bearish price action, once we see this liquidity get run, we highlight this candle and say, okay, if price displaces through this candle, that's a breaker. We're running liquidity. We're running buy-side liquidity. As soon as we see price run that, and then we see price begin to move away, and it's coming down, and we're like, all right, it still didn't displace below there. There's no trade. It's still not a breaker. It's still not a breaker. Still not a breaker. There's displacement below that candle. Now this candle is a breaker candle. It was holding price up as an order block. So as price returns, this is an order block, a bullish order block. And if price respects it, it's a bullish order block. But as soon as price disrespects it and trades through it, it becomes a breaker block. Leaves behind a fair value gap right here. From this low to this candle's high is your fair value gap. I like to target 50% of the breaker. It's inside the fair value gap, and it's close to 50% of the breakers I can get. And then that's where we're at right now, coming back up to that entry. But with the news, I'm going to stay up. So that's how you identify breakers, is look for a run of liquidity. As liquidity is being run, highlight the last down close candle or up close. If it's short, if it was running sell side liquidity, you would highlight the up close candle, but in this case it's down. Wait for it to get traded through with aggressive displacement. Identify your fair value gap, and then there's your trade. Bennu, correct. FOMC at 2 p.m. makes this low probability conditions. Yep. Breaker is nothing but an order block when you are bearish. Yeah, it's a bullish order block that's been broken, or a bearish order block that's been broken. That's a very simple way to, that's not 100% of it, but that's basically it. Man, Cisco, you got a math degree too. You and John need to hook up off the stream, and you guys can just have a little math party. Those are my thoughts on EA also. I think Aussie going to weaken versus New Zealand, so would have preferred to be short EN, but didn't like the entry area and no higher time frame liquidity to aim for. Correct. You nerds got to stick together. Light sweet WTI crude US oil. Can I go over oil? Maybe. I'm probably not going to stay on much longer, so. I know we've been in a massive uptrend for oil. Oh gosh, what is that? Go away. We've been in a massive uptrend on oil here. It's left behind those relative equal highs up there, so it's going to run those. There's no way it's not going to leave those there. That's going to get tapped. So this pullback here is just a pullback. This is your last swing level right here. It's reached into a discount. There's really no fair value. There's a small little fair value gap underneath right here that it might want to be reaching into, which is right around the optimal trade entry level. It's grabbed some sell side liquidity here. Reached in. Yeah, I mean, it's rebalanced. This fair value gap was respected here. It's respected it again twice. This is the daily fair value gap. I mean, I would just be looking for displacement higher here from these levels. It could come a little bit deeper and get a little more sell side liquidity, maybe into that daily fair value gap. But now that we've reached sell side liquidity, I would be looking for displacement higher to find a breaker in there and get long. I would still be targeting that 93.75 level for relative equal highs on the oil. I am on live chat. I'm on live messages. Cisco, thank you for the reminder. I've started to do that now as soon as I get on every day. Bastion has not been in here today, or if he has, he hasn't put anything in the chat. I think after yesterday's chat debacle, he got pretty frustrated, and I got some more messages from him in Discord, and I didn't really. They were like multiple paragraphs of run-on sentences and broken English, and I just couldn't work my way through it, and I just decided not to respond. So I think he reached a point of frustration with me, realizing that I'm not going to help him. I think he's moved on. So I do think I figured out what language I think he speaks Tamil or Tamil, Tamil. I don't know how you say it. I think that's an India language in India. But basically, one of his comments that I think I interpreted was that there are like 20 or 30 different languages spoken in India. Maybe he means dialects. I don't really know. I'm not that familiar with the languages in India. But I think he speaks Tamil or Tamil. I don't know how you say it. But obvious, just massive disconnect. So he's not been back in here. I do have all the live chats on, and I haven't seen any of his comments. Victor's short on EA. Discord link? Yeah, sure, we can. We haven't put that in there yet. Let me grab that, and I'll throw it over here.
Are you coming to the office?
After lunch. There's your Discord link. Uncle Brad, you should become U.S. president. Then we all be doing fundamental manipulative trading. Man, I remember, I don't know if y'all remember when Trump was president, but every time that dude would tweet, you would just get massive manipulation. Every time that guy opened his mouth on Twitter, there was just massive manipulation. John, you are being very like needy today. Very needy. We've run up into this 4 hour. I remember this. We've run up into this buy side liquidity into this fair value gap on the daily time frame. So if you're bearish and looking for sells, could be a nice little area that happens. You know me with gold, man. I don't trust my analysis with gold very much, quite honestly. Yesterday's trade, that I gave analysis on worked out for a little bit, but it still didn't even hit TP. So if you think you're going to be bullish on dollar, you would probably anticipate a drop in prices, some weakness in the gold prices. So it just depends. FOMC is this thing could just instantly wick up here, grab this liquidity, and then tank. It could just drop from right here and just take out all the sell side. I don't really have a really strong opinion on it. It's just moving sideways. It's doing what everything else is doing right now, just getting ready for FOMC. So I still don't have a good higher time frame draw on liquidity for gold. It's right in the middle. This is what we said yesterday. It's right in the middle of this range right here. Your overall range is carved out, and it's back in the middle of that. So it's very neutral at the moment for me for gold. I mean, short term, Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know, man. We've grabbed buy side liquidity. We haven't really displaced lower after that yet anywhere significantly. So I don't know. That's my analysis is I don't know. That's probably not super helpful. You've grabbed some buy side liquidity on the 15-minute. Yeah, just quite honestly, here's what I would say. Don't do anything with gold until FOMC hits. There's no reason to try to take a trade right now on any pair this close to the FOMC rate decision. So that's my advice on gold. All right. We got our 2 hours in and there's nothing else to do, nothing else to see. So I'm going to call the stream right there. I'm going to get in the Discord channel and notify my trader who's been over in Discord that they've won a $25,000 account with Bespoke. So head over to Discord. I'm going to reveal that here in just a minute and we can all congratulate them. So I think I might be doing it again next month too. So if you're not selected, if you're not the person I'm picking, that's okay. Just be active in Discord and be over there posting and helping and putting up charts, asking questions, all those things. And YouTube might be the person who's going to get a 25K account. But we're going to head over there right now and do that, but I'm going to get off the stream here. So you guys stay safe. Be very careful. Make sure you're not in any trades before FOMC comes out. If you're trading dollar pairs, it's just you're just asking for pain and punishment. So don't do that. We'll be back again on the live stream tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So you guys stay safe, happy hunting, and we'll catch y'all later. Adios.